Namaste, angels. This is going to be a half-hour client reading. Follow up for one of my clients who purchased a half-hour divine light cleanse and then another half-hour. So like we looked at the beginning of the month prior to the Lion's Gate. We did the energy healing, and now that we're at the end of the month, actually today is September 1st, we're taking another peek in. So I'm going to go right to the spread from the Divine Masculine's perspective, beginning with love. I think this is an air and a water sign. To be honest, I don't remember it all, and I didn't look it up because it's not important for me to. Like I don't have that concern of, oh, what if I say the wrong thing in the reading? Like that's, I don't need anybody's birth date or zodiac sign or name even. You know, it could just be whatever their email address is. You know, when I connect to the universe and ask it to send me the information on the person for whom I'm reading, you know, I trust that it does, and it does, and it never has not. So, you know, that's why there's no need for me to check. If it's an air and a water sign, that's going to turn up. If it's not, then whatever it is going to turn up. You know, the end. So anyway, opening from love to transient, which is all about healing, of course. And, you know, so not only in this area, but I would think maybe there's a focus also in the areas of love too, healing of the relationship and everything perhaps, but also individually head to toe. Love. Boom. I always get the most beautiful cards for this couple. I say it every time I do it, and it happens. You know, it's true. I started with love. I'm opening to Moon Tree. Moon Tree is a card of sacred marriage. So it signifies the relationship, and here opposite love. I mean, you can't ask for better than that, really. Love, but still fear. Still dealing with some fear. Still, you know, there's still more healing required, and that's nothing for them to take, you know, like personally, or you know, to feel badly or guilty about in any way, because basically we're all still healing from one thing or another, in one way or another, all of our lives. And basically, if you stop, and you stop, which is, you know, because healing is growth. So you cease to grow or to learn or, you know, to heal, however you want to, you know, whatever phrase you want to coin, meaning the same thing, you might as well be dead. You know, you might as well not even be here anymore. What's the purpose? So, you know, yeah, they still have got some ways to go. And this is the area. But, you know, that doesn't make them any worse or better, for that matter, than somebody that has healing in another area, you know, or growth in another area. So with that, there's still some fear of actually coming together, and maybe fear of loving, period. When people have been hurt in past relationships, even with their parents and growing up, you know, if we weren't loved properly or in a healthy way by other people, then we don't know how to do it, you know, ourselves. And so there's a fear of, what if it's like that last time? You know, or what if I blow it? Better to just avoid it, you know, at all costs, than to get in there and not do it right. So that's going on. Love and universal heart. Well, this is the healer of all time, right? The healer of the ages. So if he's involved, then there's no need for concern. We're just going to continue to have faith, is what this means. Love, and one more. Divine guidance. So this is a reminder that the support and guidance from the universe is infinite, right? Never ends. But it's important that we don't just receive it, or we don't just hear it, that we actually receive it as in take it in, and then follow it, right? Surrender to it. That's what the moon is here about. The moon represents feminine energy. And then for me, it's like even a step further than that. It's like more specifically feminine energy of surrender, meaning let go and let God, basically. Or universe, or, you know, whatever you call it, source, your higher self, all of the above, that. That, like relinquish your free will, basically. Love. I said that was going to be the last one, but okay, this will be the last one. And this is a card of, you know, new beginnings. So birth. It can sometimes come up for me, you know, in connection to like that water sign kind of energy, most specifically Scorpio, right? The death and rebirth, letting something go, like the fear perhaps, and that gives way to something brand new, fresh energy. Love. And come to relationship. This card, you know, it can turn up in connection to relationships between, you know, two people or two or more people, but it's really about, or at least as the author intended it, it's really about one's relationship with themselves. And if we want to have better relationships with other people, then we do need to focus and work on our individual healing so that we can. We do need to, you know, heal and be restored from those relationships that we had as children or growing up or in our adult lives with other partners that, you know, were toxic and things like that before we can come together. We have to work on that for ourselves and with ourselves. So that's what this card is about. And after all my shuffling, the overall energy is still birth. Divine feminine about herself, masculine about the feminine, about himself, union as a whole. Overall, the masculine would have the feminine do toward the union what he himself is willing to at this time. The universe would have the two do. The universe will absolutely help them with this, but if they affirm it for themselves first, and the outcome. So, feminine. This is perfect for the feminine. This is where she is because, again, this is feminine energy of surrender. So she's letting go and letting God, as the guidance was for her to do. I mean, it couldn't be more perfect. The masculine, as it relates to her, blessings. And we're starting right away with these like matching cards. So one of the blessings, or a part of the blessings, is in fact the guidance that they're both receiving about how to move forward. But this is also like the masculine seeing her as a blessing, and, you know, their connection as well as a blessing. About himself, still the same colors. And these cards are also very air and water. Also a little bit of earth when you look at this one. As I mentioned in the beginning, they might be. Again, most specifically Scorpio. And between blessings and inner child, possibly a Gemini or an Aquarius. Much less so a Libra. This marries a Gemini. This inner child comes through with the energy of Aquarius. That's because the star in the tarot represents the sign of Aquarius. Also, where these stars are placed, they're very strategic, right? They're over like the communication centers. So the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, and the crown chakra. Communication is associated with air signs. This is also an indication with the inner child card showing up as opposed to another card with stars on it maybe, that there is something from one's past that they need to address, and or something having to do with their own children is also a possibility. Or with, you know, with maybe like their child's parent or something like that. They're something that needs to come out, get off their chest, be communicated, worked through, healed. Masculine about the union as a whole, physical body. and all this light, all this sun. So even this card too is about, the yellow represents Archangel Uriel, you know, among many other things, but you know, Uriel. Uriel's name means God's light. That's what the sun is. So this is about, the sun heals too. You know, when we expose our skin to the sun like this, or our physical bodies to the sun like this, it heals. When you have a baby, for example, speaking of inner child, at least in black families, or at least in my black family, you know, we were always told we had to take the baby out in the sun, you know, so that it will thrive, it will grow, it will heal. And so that's kind of like what the union needs to do as a whole. Allow light to continue to be shown on it for growth, and the two individuals also growing, separate and together. Overall, this also brings in some fire sign energy, possibly, which can also be connected to Scorpio, with Mars, the red planet, being a ruler of Scorpio. Additionally, this card is all about air and water and fire. Creativity. I spoke about creativity today. It's funny because I posted about the year 2019 and how it equals 3. I did a whole thing. 3 represents creativity, or vice versa, right? Numerically, 3 is about creativity, abundance. And actually this card comes through as, it's about creatively pursuing our passions to bring about abundance. And that's abundance in all forms. So it can be love, right, and union and things like that. But our careers also, working in an area that we enjoy and becoming more abundant financially, materially, doing something that we love. That's what this is about too. And again, this is also connected to air signs, but most specifically Aquarius, but could be any of them. Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. Fire signs with this beautiful red-winged angel here. Any fire sign, just like the physical body card which it crosses, can also be representing, you know, those planets that sort of send us their karmic energy to help us through. Jupiter, Mars, and water. This angel standing in a pool of water. She is also holding a vessel from which water is spilling. There are these translucent fish jumping up out of the water. So that's Pisces energy for me. But again, any water sign too. The moon also represents the sign of Pisces in the tarot. And the fact that she's a water bearer is also more reason why the energy of Aquarius is here. Now that I say that, and I just mentioned Mars, and I'm looking at this again, and these two sitting next to one another, Mars re-enters Aquarius very soon. Another like a week and a half. It's September 11th, actually. And there's a whole bunch of stuff going down on September 11th that you may be impacted by. All of this coming from this one card. But yes. Okay, so September 11th, Mars enters Aquarius. The 9th, 9/9, will have been the new moon. So maybe something coming with the birth of that, the birth of the new moon. You're getting some new birth, rebirth. The moon in Virgo. 9/11 is also both the Islamic and the Hebrew New Year. It is Rosh Hashanah and it is the Islamic New Year. All of this on 9/11. So, you know, there's some heavy, very, you know, spiritual, celestial, just cosmic energy available to us. And it will be the energy of new beginnings, the new year, and the new moon. So I think you can look forward to that. What would the masculine have you do toward the union right now? This is continued working on healing and balance. And I'm feeling that in some cases, in some ways, the balance, he means it as literal, like there's like a hormone imbalance. You may be aware of this, or maybe you should go maybe your next physical, ask that your like levels be checked. I don't know if something's coming through there with a hormone imbalance, but this otherwise represents for me like the energy of Mars and Venus coming through. So both the masculine and physical and feminine planets of love coming through with their healing energy for you. And this card is probably the strongest for me of all of the healing cards that turn up in this deck when I see this one. I mean, it's really, really impactful because this woman, and it's sitting underneath this card with the moon, which I love, because this woman is in full surrender. This woman is in full surrender. She's all scarred, her neck, her face, yet she's relaxed, her eyes are closed, her head's tilted back, and she's just allowing for the healing. That's surrender. So I love that it's sitting here underneath this card. I love that it's part of this color scheme that the masculine seems to have chosen. You know, the blue, the green, the white, the yellow, and these 4 cards matching. What is he himself willing to contribute right now? Forgiveness. And this is both extending forgiveness and seeking it. Crossing this card, which is about him, and there's probably something tied again to a past event or his own individual past that causes him to be a particular way, or has caused him to be a particular way in his past with you. And that is something, you know, for which he would seek forgiveness, or maybe he's willing to extend some to you, having worked on some of these issues and being able to communicate some of these things now, or desiring to. Forgiveness. What would the universe have the 2 do? And again, it will help you with this, is to bring about abundance. So the 2 of you, and it's sitting right here top this other card with the sun, and it looks like the same woman even, right? She's the same complexion and all that. This sort of red and golden. I think that's her. But again, she's outside in the sun. Like I was saying, you need to be for the healing qualities of the sun. And this card is the universe guiding you to get out there and spend some time with it in general, in nature, to allow for the flow of abundance in all forms. Again, financial, material, and also love. And the outcome. More surrender. And the goddess. It's basically like the goddess of the moon. I just felt in doing this, well, you saw when I got around here, that the moon and around that time might be significant for you. And now you're sort of like crowned by a goddess with a moon behind her and rooted in one as well. So I think that this may be confirmation of the fact that that week. So again, the moon is 9-9. 9911. So that in itself is a 911 too. 9911 equals 911 or 11. And then of course, the actual day, 9/11, is an 11/11. Because that day we have, you know, the 9 plus the 11 equals 11. And then there's another 11 for the year. So that one's an 11/11. So I think that whole period there, and the energy of 9/11 in general, which the whole month of September is 9/11 this year. So I think that it's going to have some, there's important things going to come out for you. So let's do the spread from the perspective of the universe, beginning with young male. Again, this can be the masculine himself. This can be either one, but I guess leaning more toward the masculine. This can be his child too. Aw, boom. Twin flame without fail, always for this couple, always. Young male and true gem. So I said there was an air sign involved. I felt like this could be another indication of that is the case. Can be an actual Gemini or the air sign Libra, Aquarius. And also that comes through about value. But here we have brunette female, which is my karmic energy for in this deck, and karmic female energy more specifically, because I have a masculine one too. He's the fair male. And having this opposite the young male, where I just in the last spread came across something that I said could have to do with the child and the parent. That inner child card could be connected to an issue that needs to be healed with his parent, his or her parent. That can be why this is showing up too. Brunette female, and here's the blonde female. This is the representation of the divine feminine for me in this deck. So now basically we have, you know, like divine feminine versus karmic going on here. And maybe some sort of decision like that is in the process of being made. Blonde female and money. Money, perhaps an issue in the decision. In the 3D, which the masculine tend to be, at least more so than the feminine, sort of stuck there. Not quite as evolved or ascended. There's more healing outside with the sirens. I'll wait for Raphael to pass. Not quite as evolved or ascended as the rest of us, or as the feminine. They can really be focused on, like, how can I afford to leave my old life? You know, how would I afford to take care of both my child or children with this other partner and move on? Or, you know, with what I'm left, how will I afford to properly provide and all that kind of stuff? All the, you know, a lot of that comes up. Also, there could be an earth sign involved. Over the past few weeks, I've been feeling Taurus, most specifically as a karmic energy. Third party is a Taurus. Also, the value, similar to the True Gem card. When we see them, that money card, it tends to represent most directly as far as zodiac for me, Capricorn. So it can be about our ties to money, right? That Capricorn, that restrictive sort of I'm bound type of energy. And coming to past life, which supports all that we've seen thus far too. And again, there's something rooted in the past that needs to be dealt with now. Overall energy is gifts. I do feel like this is more metaphorical than physical. So like spiritual gifts or something rather than actual gifts, or the blessings that turned up in the reading prior, right? Those are gifts too. Divine couple, recent past, masculine's higher self, near future, blocks to the union, the feminine can do, the masculine can do to help himself, what the universe would have the two do, would love to help them with, will help them with if they affirmed it themselves first, and the outcome. Divine couple, obstacles. So that could be that money that I just spent so much time on, I was drawn to, the karmic influence, both, but both facing obstacles. Also that fear that turned up in the beginning when I was shuffling, that's a major obstacle. Recent past, young female. This has the energy of Sagittarius and Jupiter for me, and can very well be connected to the recent past when Jupiter was retrograde in Scorpio. Near future, fun time. So now that maybe restriction has ended, especially if there is a Scorpio involved here at all, both of their rulers had been retrograde, both Mars and Pluto. So yeah, when the tensions ease up, and Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn, so just talking about Capricorn, when those tensions ease up, yes, fun times ahead there. Masculine higher self, open relationship. I'm feeling that this is representing being torn, and that's usually not what it means for me, but that's what I got. That was the first thing that I heard when I picked up the card. It's like being torn. So I think similar to what we just saw, actually. I had forgotten already that as I was shuffling, I did have the divine feminine rather, opposite the karmic female. So I think it's one of those deals there. He's torn. And again, probably because of money. But then we have the universe having already promised, committed to helping us with that abundance if we, sort of affirm the same thing ourselves. And we have that faith and belief that the universe is going to come through and we do what it asks us to do, which in your case was to spend time in nature, meditating, connecting. The abundance will flow for you. Blocks to the union other than these obstacles here. Control, manipulation, and I think it's because of money. Again, on the masculine side, again, his child or children's other parent, I think is the one. On your side, I mean, the fear, and then on both sides, the fear. Right? Fear it controls us too. Also, again, the retrograde, that energy has a lot to do with it too. When one's planet is ruling planet is in retrograde. So if that's the case also, that is also an influence. What the feminine can do to move forward though, just like, you know what your destiny is. So it's sort of like, if you saw the love reading that I did the other day, there was one of the feminine, I had a conversation with her about a picture she saw. And she was letting this picture change her mind about everything else she had experienced over the past few months and felt and seen and just knew in her heart and stuff. And that's how this is coming through. Like, you know, sort of like we know how this ends, if that makes any sense. It's your destiny to overcome these obstacles, basically. Masculine. Young male. So from the beginning, I was feeling this having to do with him and or his child. And I think that, again, this is reconfirmed because the same energies just came up a second ago and I just talked about them. What the universe will help you with money, abundance. Remember, this was the card that was in that placement in the last spread. What the universe will help you with. Boom. If you affirm, if you go after it. And didn't I just say these exact words just a few seconds ago before I turned over this card? So you know what you have to do. And hopefully he will, receive the same information too. He'll be guided along in the same way. Outcome. Ice King. It could be Mars, again, relying on Mars, taking action, but maybe there had not been much action before if Mars is somebody's ruler, if there's a water sign involved, particularly a Scorpio. In addition to that, of course, this represents all air signs, so Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, if anybody is that. It also brings in the energy of fire, which we saw before too. We saw air, we saw fire, we saw water. Here's Leo. Also Mars, not only a ruler of Scorpio, but also of Aries, fire sign Aries. So there's more fire there. And again, Mars having been retrograde in Aquarius and then popping over to Capricorn and returning to Aquarius in about a week and a half. So all of those things coming through with this. This is also father energy. So again, I think his child, there's a situation still of manipulation with his child. Maybe money being used as a, as strings to pull somebody. Money being used as a means of manipulation. But Mars is going to help you out of that, particularly when he goes back into Aquarius. And that's actually a half hour already, so we'll just quickly look at a couple of love cards and see what this says. Beginning with true love, this is the romance of a lifetime, and opening to love yourself first. This is kind of like the relationship card we saw before. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive, and focusing on your individual healing as a major part of your plan in healing your relationship. We have to do self-focus. New love, a new person has stirred your romantic feelings. That goes with the beginnings that we saw, the birth, true love, and playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. True love. Separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. But very soon, if you clearly decide what you want, it will come to you. That's the overall energy. Crowning the masculine. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. So where he's feeling torn and he's tussling, he's not sure what to do, romance angels step in to guide him toward healing the relationship. He's surrounded by forgiving and learning, which makes sense. We had forgiveness also showing up for him just 2 spreads ago. As you release and heal the past, remember it was crossing inner child, connected to the past, that forgiveness. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. So working on the past, healing the past to improve the now and our future. And boom, and his subconscious is reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. So here we have him being guided to give the relationship a chance. And here we have him being moved and even thinking about it himself, reconciliation. Crowning the feminine is passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Goes with that energy of creativity, which is very 3 of fire, right? The angel with the red wings that was standing in the pool of water. Surrounded by calling in your soulmate, your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So continuing to manifest that. That's part of the abundance that we're bringing in. And boom, here is the soulmate right underneath that. And mirroring the reconciliation. Yes, this is your soulmate. And crowning. Boom. Healing family issues. How many times have we seen that in this reading? Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. But it's not just your parents. It's any and everybody who has that sort of hold over you and is so impactful upon your life that you can't move on with that life or with love or, anything basically without healing the relationship with them. And then healing the relationship with them is going to mean either repairing it if that's a possibility and a desire, or walking away from it. Sometimes that's how we heal a relationship too, but it has to be addressed if you're unable to move forward with your life, without it being. And that applies to both. At the root, heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. Communication could very well be coming in for you. And at the heart of the matter, pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. What red flags have we had? We've had the energy of Mars, and that was positive, and gave us something to look forward to. And I think that that's probably what this is telling us as well. If I had more time, I would have gone into the Angel Tarot as well, would have given us some more information. And I would have began with the Lovers, which can be indicative of that sort of being torn and that tug of war also. Heart versus head sort of decisions that have to be made. Lovers represents the sign of Gemini, so more air sign too. Further advice to the masculine, answered prayer. Some more of this energy of air and water too. And again, most specifically Aquarius and Scorpio. It doesn't have to be that. And maybe even more importantly than that, it's about answered prayer. So it's like, you know, your dreams are coming true. Wishes are being granted. Connecting with the universe right now. It's a good time for him to, you know, make a wish. For you, it's high priestess sort of energy with the mystic. Again, more air and water. And more specifically Aquarius of the air signs. But more importantly than that, again, this is like high priestess energy. So it's about, you know, paying close attention to your intuition and listening to it and following it and not being, you know, pushed off of the path, derailed from path because of something like a picture or, you know, whatever, like I mentioned earlier. And just like staying true to what you know. And using that information in a wise way to make your decisions, you know, so considering what your heart is telling you, what your intuition is telling you, what logic dictates, you know, what you may have learned through some other experience, wisdom, combining them all together and, you know, operating through that. For the masculine, passion. So this is, you know, very straightforward, right? Pursuing what moves us, you know, what moves our passions, what makes them soar, as they say. For you, work. So again, this is earth energy. Could be connected to abundance. And the need to put your efforts toward your desires in whatever area that is, or areas, and then you'll reap the benefits. We do the work, we get paid, right? We get a reward. And from the romance angels, honeymoon, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. And I think, again, the moon around the time of the new moon could be significant for the two of you. Something going on, definitely calmer, stiller waters that you're moving into, and maybe enjoying the honeymoon phase of a reconciliation and some conversation, some communication. And lastly, for you, it's telling you to shake the fear, though. It's safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. I hope that you've enjoyed your reading and find it helpful. Talk to you soon. Namaste.